Okay. So, brother, again, I'm back. I'm back in the building again with another one for you. So we're going to keep it coming. We're going to keep it coming. You know, the more and the more and the more that we publicize our truth becomes part of the record. See, we're at the time now where we're actually in the change, in the process of history. You have to recognize that history has always been defined by the people. We define history. We create the order. See, in order for the order or the rule to govern, they have to put the people under an illusion that you must do or follow a certain way of being or a certain way of acting in order for things to be correct. My brother and my sister, every time that we go public and that we publicize to the people the truth, it becomes part of the public record. This is all public information, including these public records that I make. Why? Because they can take these same records and use them in court against you. Am I correct? If you do something publicly online and everybody sees it, they can hold that against you as a public record against you. You bribe somebody, they got pictures of you stealing. It's a violation of rights because they got to have your consent to use any images or any of your property, regardless if it's public or not. They still need consent. But at the same time, we know that these records can be used against you. So I want you to understand that when you go public and you teach and you do this, you're making public records that become part of the public record. I'm gonna give you an example. If you were to Google, what is credit? Or do you have the rights to endorse your bills as credit? It's going to give you an answer. And then it's going to come up with, oh, it's a theory or something about in a sovereign citizen. See, this is a way of covering up that this is also part of the record. They're also utilizing what the people have said in other senses, but they're trying to misdescribe the people as the people speaking and saying sovereign citizens. See, that's to discredit the information in the record as it proceeds forward by being identified that this information, this truth that's coming out in reference to records publicly that already are publicized. To discredit it, they give it a different name. They give the people a different identity to be identified under in order to discredit that information, because you're dealing with we're dealing with our brothers, right? But they're in higher positions of authority, right? Of responsibility, which gives them more authority to do things that you cannot do. So they can play from a higher standpoint, from administration. Understand that. But at the same time, you can't be in that kind of position unless you're subservient to the people that you are administrating for. So it still makes them inferior to a man or a woman who knows the truth. You see what I'm saying? But when you are incompetent, then you stand in an inferior position. And we're going to talk about some things, right? We're going to go over some things, and we're going to do this publicly, right? The reason why it's important that you show proof of everything that you do or you show where you come from when you talk, or you give information for the discredibility or anybody trying to discredit anything that you may say. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna pull up something for Illinois. Okay, y'all bear with me. All right, so this is so that they can't discredit what I'm saying. All right, now I'm back. Now check this out. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay. Now, the reason why I got to do this is like for what I said, to stop anybody that's trying to discredit anything that you may be hearing today, right? So we're going to stop the discredibility by showing proof of what we say, right? So no government, no state, or nobody can say that this is a deceptive practice, because we're reading from the laws that speak on fraud, deceptive business practices. And why is it specifically saying business practices is a deceptive act? Can you answer that, Mr. State? Can anybody, state officer, employee, answer why is it saying that it's a deceptive act to practice business? Can you explain that to the people? Since you want to say that we are the ones that's committing fraud, or that we're lying, and you got other people that seems to believe that we're lying. Okay, but we're gonna see today who's really the liar. Who's the true liar here? Is it the people or the brothers and the sisters that you're trying to mislabel as sovereign citizens? Or is it you, the one that's sitting in a higher seat, hiding behind your curtains? Just like Jesus said, we don't war with flesh and blood. We war with wickedness in municipalities and stuff like that, in high places where y'all doing all this wicked stuff. What I need to lie for, and remember, this is strictly for educational and informational purposes only. Strictly to educate you. I'm not advising you to do anything, but if only one thing I advise you to do is read and study. I advise you to do that. Now let's start this off. This is called business transactions. Why is it saying business transactions? Because they're not supposed to be doing no damn business. Nobody. Consumer Fraud and Deceptive Business Practices Act. The term advertisement includes the attempt by publication, decimation, or solicitation, or circulation to induce, or directly or indirectly any person to enter into any obligation. So when somebody advertises something, when they publicize something, they disseminate something, or they solicit something, or even circulated. Like when you ride past the dealer and they got all these prices on their lot, saying how much this stuff costs or all of this, mortgage companies, anybody advertising, publicizing, right, soliciting or circulating anything to induce directly or indirectly any person to enter into any obligation or acquire any title or interest in any merchandise. Like in your car, they put a lien on it, or they said that they got an interest in it if you don't pay. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the houses, how you put all these liens on people's houses. All this stuff that you say that we say, you say we lying. You're treating it like business, right? And it includes every work device, right? Check it out. Every work device to disguise. What are they disguising? Any form of business solicitation by using such terms as what? Renewal. Hold up. Invoice. Oh, bill. Oh, statement. Oh, they send you statements, right? Or reminder. They reminding you that you past due, right? To create an impression of an existing obligation. So what do you mean that we are lying? Who's lying here? Now this is public law, right? You say we lying, right? Now, can you explain this to us? What is this talking about? You say we owe you something every month, huh? You say we supposed to pay you hold on, let me enlarge this because we want to talk about this. Since you want to say that we the ones that's deceiving the people, well, I want to make it large for you to see it, sir. Ma'am, state official. Yeah, I want you to see this. Whoever running the gas company, water company, the ones that's been taxing all of us, telling us that we owe you money, saying that we got to pay for electricity, water, gas, like we're in a business transaction. You're soliciting us to believe that we owe you something. Okay, let's talk about it. You've been issuing to us statements, reminders, bills, invoices, renewals, huh? Even when we get credit cards, huh? Talk to us. We want to know answers. What is this? Let's keep going. So they're trying to create. See, I want y'all to see it. See, they trying to get some kind of title in your property. They using words like bill, statement, reminders, make you think that you're in a business transaction, but credit is insurance. It's not a sale of, the government bankrupt. They can't do nothing but insure any obligation. So they're writing it in a way to make an impression in your mind that you owe something. When really in actuality, the whole contract is insurance. It's already secured, right? So in order for you to become obligated, they got to trick you, okay? To create an impression of an existing obligation when what it says right here. What it say? Huh? What it say? Huh? Who say you owe debt? Who say you owe something? What does it say? There is none. There's no obligation to you. You're being deceived. You're being misled. Huh? They're using language to mislead you. Any person in relation to what? In relation to any sought after what? Commercial transaction. What I tell you was called. Hold up. Now I want them to be mad at me today. Commercial transaction. Oh, let's look this up. Y'all share out the live. Make sure y'all get them lights up. Tap that screen for me. Share it with many people as possible, man. We going ham today. Super Bowl Sunday. Let's make it a real Super Bowl, y'all. Now we want to talk about commercial sex. because sex is anytime you have intercourse, right? When you have intercourse, right? So if it was never meant for you to engage with somebody, it was never meant for y'all to have a relationship outside of the transfer from the time when y'all entered into the agreement, and everything should have been done right then and there. But if somebody keep engaging you, if they keep billing you, invoicing you, contacting you, calling you, emailing you, they're creating some type of commercial activity with you. And this is all done in an inducement to keep you engaged in commercial sex. Now, let me put you on game. All right. Now, the legal definition of commercial sex act, because it's an act, it refers to any sexual activity which something of value is exchanged. Oh, wow. So you mean to tell me, wow. Okay. So if a mortgage is exchanged, if a lease is exchanged, if a rental agreement is exchanged, this creates some type of commercial sex act. Okay. This includes situations where money, goods, or services are given or received in connection with the act. Oh, wow. Come on, y'all. Y'all talk to me. Make sure y'all tap the screen for your brother, man. Show the love. Show the love. Just like I'm sharing the love, showing the love, show it back now. Let's love on each other today. You help me, I help you. It's a win-win situation. How can we win? How can we lose when we work together? We all we got. Let's start depending on each other now. Let's start working with each other the way we should. And we'll let God do the rest. He said, you seek me first and all other things shall be added unto you. Let's seek the true living God. The true source, the true essence. Okay? Let's find that source. And in that source, we shall unite as one. Under all truths, because we are truth. We are knowledge, we are wisdom, and we are understanding over all things. We've always been and always will be that which we are. You can't change that. We are who we are. You can act as us, but we will always remain ourselves. You can't take away from us something that we are. We are knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You can't hide from that which is. Right? So this is called commercial sex. Specifically, it is defined in what? Title 22 of the United States Code 7102. Any sex act on account of which anything of value is given or received by any person. This definition is significant in the context of human trafficking and exploitation laws, emphasizing the importance of consent and the value exchange in such activities. So, like when you're dealing in persons, person is property, and a person can be exchanged and sold, traded. But when you're exchanging your personal or your characteristics, right, you're actually selling your own property, right? A sale, let me show you, because see, they don't teach you this in school, right? So when they say that your personal information is vital, it really is. Let me show you how vital it is. Check this out. All right. So a sale, you know how you go on the store and you buy something, they sell it to you. All right, but we really got to legally know the difference of what a sale really is, right? A sale is a legal contract in which the ownership of goods, right, or property is transferred from the seller to the buyer in exchange for money, right? The key elements of the sale include competent parties, the buyer and the seller. They must have legal capacity to enter into the contract. Valid object, the item, right? Hold up, go back up. the item being sold must be a lawful and not forbidden, right? So that's why when you enter into a contract, you get approved. The reason why it's approved, so it's an approved act, which makes it a valid agreement, okay? So all these processes that we go through, they are there for a reason, right? There must be a mutually agreed price for the transaction, right? So it's got to be a mutual agreement. So somebody got to be promising that an amount is due, and somebody got to be accepting and agreeing to pay the same balance. See what I'm saying? And that makes a mutual binding contract when two people agree to the same thing in the same sense. Because if you say it's due, then I know it's payable already, because when something is due, it's also payable. So an acceptance can turn something due into something payable, right? Now, the reason why you must understand, truly comprehend a sale, because a sale is just when you transfer property from one person to the other. So if you own something and it's in your name and then you pass it over to somebody else, that's considered as a sale of the item. So what that means, if you was to hand, say you get approved for an installment loan contract and you step in front of the dealer and they say, okay, well, you've been approved. And you say, okay, now they issue the item to you, but you got a conspicuous statement there. Now you say, well, what's a conspicuous statement? Let me look this up, because I want you to understand that. Let me look this up. All right. So now, a conspicuous statement. A conspicuous statement, according to the UCC, 311, right? 3311. The statement regarding conspicuous in the context of the Uniform Commercial Code, which primarily found in 3311. This section states that if a person tendered an instrument as full satisfaction of a claim, the claim is discharged unless the claimant can prove that the instrument contained a conspicuous statement indicating that it was tendered in full satisfaction. Additionally, the claim is not discharged if the claimant, within 90 days after payment, tendered repayment of the full instrument to the person against whom the claim is asserted. This highlights the importance of a clear communication regarding the nature of the instrument being tendered, right? So it's talking about a conspicuous statement being a statement written on the instrument saying that the instrument is being tendered as full satisfaction of all claims connected to the account. In fact, by the authorized party or person who has the authority in order to act, right? Now, let's look up another word real quick. We're gonna look up the legal definition of a holder. Now, why is this important? Because it may be some things you may be in possession of and you might not understand what's going on. In law, a holder is defined as an individual, right? We know that an individual is an entity and a natural person, okay? It's an entity and a natural person. So a holder is defined as an individual who has lawfully received possession of property, such as a promissory note, a check, or other financial instruments. Specifically, a holder is someone who legally owns a document or item and has the rights to use or benefit from it. Additionally, the holder of a bill of exchange or promissory note is the person who has legally acquired possession from a capable party. All right, so a holder is somebody that's receiving items or financial instruments who lawfully has the rights to take possession of the instruments and use the instruments, okay? Just because a person holds an instrument doesn't necessarily put them as a holder in due course, because you have to do certain things to actually truly be in possession of the instrument and its value. You can actually hold something and not accept the value from what you're holding. You know what I'm saying? You could be in possession of a box and it got millions of diamonds in it and never open the box and never receive any value from what you were holding, because you never took the ability to fully accept what the box had to offer. Okay, so this thing works similar in all types of transactions, but we're gonna get back to what I was showing you. Let me find it real quick. All right, here we go. All right, so all this was considered as commercial sex. So anytime they engage you, right, to enter into an agreement and they make you feel like you got to pay, or they make you feel like you owe something because they send a statement to you and they saying, hey, this and that, all right, all that's is an impression to make you believe that you in a business transaction. As a consumer, you're not in a business transaction. And that's why you gotta dispute, claim that you're a natural person. And as a natural man or woman, you don't owe for any services that you've provided. You know what I'm saying? It's a misrepresentation. Your business vocation is not to resell or to gain profit. So anything you purchase is for your own consumption. Nobody can resell your goods or tender your goods by delivering to you items, bills, or notes. Whenever you receive an item, that's considered as a sale. A sale is a delivery from the seller to the buyer. So whenever they transfer a document, any kind of bill, invoice to you, they're trying to make a sale to you to purchase the amount that they trying to receive. You see what I'm saying? But they're selling you, if it's your account and they tender goods due on your account to you, then they're trying to sell your own goods back to you. Okay? Because they're transferring something to you as if you owe for something, and That's why you should object to it, because they don't have the rights to sell you anything. All right. Now, you go back real quick. Merchandise includes any object, wares, goods, commodities, intangibles, real estate situated outside the state of Illinois, or services, right? So services is also merchandise. I want you to understand that people are holding merchandise that belongs to you. The term person includes any natural person, right? Or his legal representative, right? So your legal representative could be an LLC. Your legal representative could be a trust. See what I'm saying? Because legally you can represent yourself in the capacity of any type of entity that you choose, or you design for yourself. You see what I'm saying? Because once you turn 18, you have the rights to formation, to establish yourself. You see what I'm saying? And that's what this is all about, right? And no man or no other company has a greater right than another company that's fully established and operating correctly. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about proper operation and doing things in accordance to what all have come together, because it's collective consciousness. It's not one person's way. That's why we have state laws, constitutional laws, and stuff like that, because the collective consciousness have come together in order to restore order, in order for you to know truth, in order for things to be made plain. So you can see deception. So you can see disorderly conduct from officers and trustees, partners that are supposed to be here as public servants to serve the public, but they're serving the public detrimental to their own benefit, to the point where they're putting you in jail as a public servant, locking you up, damaging your property, doing things that public services are not supposed to do. They're treating it like business. So the term person includes any natural person or his legal representative, a partnership or a corporation, domestic and foreign, company, trust, business entity, or association. And any agent, employee, salesman, partner, officer, director, member, stockholder, associate, trustee, or Sesta KV trust thereof, right? So it's telling you that a natural person can be any of that. Do you understand that? So when you operate strictly as a man without any legal capacity representation, if you're not operating as a man with a partnership or a man with a corp who's an agent inside a corporation, then you're operating as a natural person only, and now you can have a legal representative to represent you. Okay? That's how they can attach an attorney, an officer, because a natural person is an individual person, which is a natural person and a entity, which is a representative. Okay? So you got to understand that every natural person has a legal representation of himself called a legal character, right? These are things you have to grow back into knowing again. At one point we did know these things. It was taught to you at such a young age that it wasn't being used, so quite naturally you don't recognize it when you see it in front of you, even though at one point you understood certain things. See what I'm saying? That's why I say it's an impairment, because the mind never forgets. It's called fail to recall. Okay? The term sale includes any sale. See? Sale, it includes any sale, offer for sale, or attempt to sell any merchandise. So what did it say merchandise was? Let's go back up here. See? It says merchandise includes any objects, wares, right? Goods, commodities, intangibles, real estate, situated outside the state of Illinois, or services. See, even services is considered as merchandise. All right, now, why is that crazy? Because right here at the beginning, it tells us right here at the end of it, right? It says that to advertise includes to attempt by publication, dissemination, or circulation, or solicitation to induce directly or indirectly any person to enter into any obligation or acquire any interest in any merchandise. So if they send you a bill, they sending you a bill to acquire interest in that merchandise to make you pay them. Or it includes every work device. So any kind of device work, what they do, email, to disguise any form of business solicitation, because they're supposed to be public servants, not business. They're not supposed to be doing business. Everything's supposed to be done for the benefit of the public. We're in bankruptcy. We're at war. Commerce is a war on the wealth of the people. You don't believe me? I can pull it up and show it to you. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that for you because you need to know the truth. Whenever they make you pay bills and stuff, they're warned against you. Okay? See, they use words like renewal, invoice, bill, statement, reminder to create an impression. See, they trying to trick you. I want you to understand they're not supposed to do business. They public servants. They're supposed to be serving the public, not doing business. Okay? Now you know why you should dispute the bill. It's a billing error. Okay? Understand what I'm telling you. Where there is none. See? Why is there none? There is none. Right? Or other language to mislead any person in relation of a sought after commercial transaction. So what they do, right? They create these old bogus contracts that basically say you agree to pay back some money for something that you ain't really supposed to be paying. And then they get you to sign and agree to pay it. And then they use your promise against you to say you owe them something. When really in actuality, you never really owed nothing. They were never really supposed to make you believe you owed something. And they were never supposed to induce you to sign it in a way to make you pay. Now, let me show you something else. We're gonna move around a little bit. And I want y'all to share out the live as many people as you can. Yeah, share the live out. If you've never heard of me, my name is Brother Isaiah. I'm your brother. I'm only here to teach and educate you and show you truth, okay? Everything I show you is public information. This is not nothing to be hidden from you. This is something that you need to know and that you need to understand, okay? You've been lied to, you've been misled, you've been tricked, okay? And I'm here to show you that anybody that's doing this to you is deceiving you. Let me show you something else why they ain't supposed to be charging you for your bills every month. Let me show you something real quick. Give me a second here, get this together. All right, so listen. All right, so I just showed that they're not supposed to be selling anything, right? So a sale includes any offer for sale or attempt to sell any merchandise. And I showed y'all that merchandise is bills, invoices, anytime, and a sale includes a delivery from one person to another. So if somebody transfers something to you, that's considered as selling it to you, okay? Any merchandise for cash or on credit. Even if it's on credit and they try to sell it on to you on credit, all right? It's a sale. They ain't supposed to be selling nothing, right? Now, consumer means any person who purchases. See, a consumer is a purchaser. And what you really need to start understanding is what a purchaser is, because you may not even understand what it means to be a purchaser of something. When you actually bought something or you've actually purchased something and everything about it should be being used strictly for you, and somebody's trying to treat it other than what it really is, and you don't understand what's going on. So you really need to really listen to what I'm saying, share the live out, man, and tell people to get on this live right here, because I'm about to show y'all some very powerful stuff, and y'all really need to get many people that you've been wanting to let them see something, that you want somebody to be able to prove this to them so that they can understand what's going on. You at the right place at the right time. And if you really want your people to know the truth, you need to go get them now while I'm going over this information, so that they can see what I'm about to expose, so that they can see this truth. I don't believe in just saying things without proof, okay? Anything I tell you, I can prove it to you, word for word, that what I'm showing you is true and that they're deceiving you, okay? And the law stands on your side, okay? Now look, the term consumer means any person who purchases or contracts for the purchase of any merchandise. So if you purchase a lease, you're purchasing merchandise. If you purchase a mortgage, that's merchandise. And nobody can sell your merchandise, all right? Once you buy it, okay? Now check it out. Now, you gotta understand, it's many ways you can purchase things, and you might be buying stuff and don't know you're buying it, okay? Not for resale. See that? So when you purchase any merchandise, lease, license, mortgage, anything, it is not to be resold. Nobody can resell it again. Meaning if they sold it to you at $50,000, nobody can rebate it back to you every month at a lower rate and say now it's $200, $50, all the way up back to the $5,000 again. They can't do that. That's called a resale. You cannot resell consumer goods, right? They're not for resale in the ordinary course of his trade or business, but for his use or that of a member of his household. All right? And then they get to going into what trade and commerce offering for sale, but because they offer things for sale, but they also sell products to consumers, and they know that once a consumer buys a product from them, they're not supposed to resell it. It's a violation. Now let me show you something real quick. We're gonna bring this all home, okay? Because I know I'm talking big. Let me show you one more thing, right? You got pyramid schemes. I don't want to go into that because that might throw you off. You might not be ready for all that advancement yet. All right, now we're gonna go to section 2, part 2 of this thing. This is called a sale of merchandise, right? Now check it out. Y'all remember earlier up top, I can go all the way back up to the top if I have to prove it to you, that merchandise also includes services. Y'all remember I showed, but matter of fact, let me show it to you before I even go into it, because I don't want nobody saying that what I'm saying is not true. Here's the term right here, merchandise. It says merchandise includes objects, wares, goods, commodities, intangibles, real estate situated outside the state of Illinois, or services. Okay, so now let's go back down, because I don't want you to think I'm lying to you. Now I want you to see for yourself, and this is in every state, not just in Illinois. This is codified, all right? You just gotta find it. Now it says, section B, where a sale of merchandise involving $25 or more is made or contracted to be made, whether under a single contract or under multiple contracts, to a consumer by a seller who is physically present at the consumer's residence. That consumer may avoid the contract or transaction by notifying the seller within 3 full business days following the day on which the contract was signed or the sale was made, and by returning to the person in its original condition any merchandise delivered to the consumer under the contract or sale at the time the transaction is made or the contract is signed. The person shall furnish to the consumer with a fully completed receipt or contract pertaining to the transaction in substantially the same language as that principally used. Indeed, oral presentation to the consumer. Like when you get your services over the phone, electricity, gas, or water, containing a notice of cancellation informing the consumer that he may cancel the transaction at any time within 3 business days, showing the date of the transaction, name, and the address of the person in immediate proximity to the space reserved for the consumers, for the contract for the consumer signature, right? So let me go back up. It's actually against the law for them to charge you $25 or more without a signed contract, without a signed written agreement. Nobody can actually charge you on a month-to-month basis because they got to have a signed written agreement to enforce payment. Okay? Payment is enforced by a written instrument, such as like a lease agreement, a license, or any kind of contract where you sign and you've agreed to pay a specific amount of money. If you got services over the telephone and they cut on your gas, your water, your electricity, there is no written agreement. There is no contract. These are credit services. These are services that are given to you on credit, right? And it's against the law for them to sell credit to you. So if you apply for services and they approve them to you on credit, and then 30 days later they start trying to sell the services, make you pay for the services, then they're charging you for credit services, okay? And it's against the law to do that. Now let's pull this up real quick. Now, we're gonna go to CFR 16, part 444. Now follow me now. Follow me. I'm gonna show you something. Now I told you to go get your people. Now I ain't one of the regular jokers. You hear me? I'm him. I'm him, y'all. I'm him. Go get him. Tell them I'm live right now. Tell them I don't want to miss this truth now. You've been wanting to teach them. You've been wanting them to learn. Well, here's your time. Here's your turn. A lender, a person who engages, right? Let me show you what I'm reading. All right, I don't want you to miss it. We have 16 CFR subsection 444.1. A lender, a person who engages in business of lending money to consumers within the jurisdiction of the Federal Trade Commission. A real estate installment seller, right? We know what they are, dealerships, right? A person who sells goods or services to consumers. Okay, they selling you goods or services on deferred payment basis. So now you should make sense. Why is it deferred payment? Because you don't owe nothing. Bases are pursuant to a lease purchase arrangement within the jurisdiction of the Federal Trade Commission. Now, a person is an individual, corporation, or other business organization. This word individual, that's where they're getting you at right here, because you don't know what an individual is. You keep you keep thinking that personally you just an individual by yourself. You don't understand the individuality of your business relationship or your legal capacity, okay, as an individual. And that in itself causes you to do things that may not be proper. But it is a business organization. And I want you to understand that a person is not a man or a woman. A person is something separate from you, called an individual. Now, A lot of laws and stuff might say, oh, an individual, a man is an individual, and you the same. No, you're not. An individual is not you. You're a natural person, right? Now let's look. A consumer, right below person, because you know you're not a person, because you might be acting as an individual, but you most definitely are not a person, because God don't create that. So a consumer is a natural person who seeks or acquires goods or services or money for personal, family, or household use. Now, remember I told you earlier, I said that a consumer is an individual is a natural person and an entity. Remember I said that earlier? I say an individual is a natural person and a legal entity, because you got legal capacity. So you have to have an entity to have capacity. So when you're doing business and you're interacting with these companies, that's your business capacity. You may individually misrepresent what that is, but that's what it is. But as a natural person, you are not an individual. Understand that. We're not making this stuff up, yo. We're telling you the truth. Now, an obligation is an agreement between a consumer and a lender, right? Or a retail installment seller. So when the lender does business with the consumer, which is the natural man, he has to do business with the natural man as an individual. But your all capital name is considered as a proper noun. A proper noun is supposed to identify a person, a place, or a thing properly. So the reason why your name is written in all caps and first, middle, last duration, because that's your full legal name that properly identifies the man, right? Now, I know it may sound different because you thought we were taught proper noun in the sense of upper and lowercase letters. Well, you have called proper names or proper nouns, and then you have what's called common names or common nouns. Okay? And they both operate a little bit different. What's common to man and woman is upper and lowercase, but a proper noun identifying a person is in all caps. All right? This is English language. I had to learn it myself too. It blew my mind when I figured it out. I was like, oh, wow. So my all cap name is my proper name. Wow. But the whole time I've been thinking that it's improper. But it's not the case. And if you don't believe me, just go do a little homework. Go prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. That's all you got to do. Just prove the brother wrong. All right. Now, a lender or a retail installment seller is a creditor. They're not calling the consumer a creditor, right? I want you to understand that, because they quick to tell you that you're the creditor. But if you don't read these laws and what I'm showing you on the screen, if you don't know these things, you'll be confused. You don't really understand what's happening. All right. Now, a debt is money that is due. So when it's not the instrument, debt is not the instrument. It don't say debt is a mortgage, debt is a lease. It don't say that. It says that is money that is due. Can you read? And I'm not saying that to be offensive. I'm saying that to tell you to focus on what's on the damn screen. Stop reading and not comprehending. A debt is not an instrument. A debt is money that is due or alleged to be due from one to another. Now, does it make sense? Oh, yeah, I know it does, because the whole time you've been thinking that the money was something else, but the money is the amount due. So when you get a Federal Reserve note, that's not the money. The money is what's due in the note. Understand that the note is just a medium of exchange. Hope it makes sense to you. Earnings, compensation paid. See, when you earn something, earn the right to payment. That's why we call it earnings, because you got to earn that right? is compensation paid or payable to an individual. Oh, payable to an individual? Wow. Or his or her account for personal services rendered or to be rendered by him or her? Wait a minute, I thought they was the service provider. God damn. I thought they was the, excuse my French, y'all, but I thought they been lying, man. They been lying. And what? You mean to tell me that the consumer is the one rendering the services for his or her account? Wow. Wow. So this whole time you've been rendering your own services, right? Whether they're denominated as wages, salary, commission, bonus, or otherwise, including periodic payments, pursuant to a pension, retirement, or disability program. Then it talks about household goods, right? And it talks about all of this and that, right? We ain't gonna go into it. You can read this at your own leisure. I ain't gonna get into it. I just want to get into the good stuff. Now we got co-signing, because they've been telling you, oh, baby, I need you to come down and co-sign for me. They saying that I need a co-signer. They lying to you. They lying. You don't need no co-signer. You a man. You a fully well-established being. You don't need no damn co-signer. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody came and signed with you, they're not signing as a co-signer. You're the only co-signer for your account. You're the only one that can sign on behalf of that name and that number. Even if you think it's you, even if you've been fooled, bamboozled, or whatever, you're the only one that can sign for that name. They call Isaiah Jakeem Bay. I'm the only one that can sign for mine with the number of the last digits of 4126. Ain't nobody signing for Isaiah Jakeem Bay with a 4126 on the end of it, but me. Unless I granted them consent or they're misrepresenting and acting as an imposter on my profile. So we understand what's going on, right? So check it out. A cosigner is a natural person who renders himself or herself liable for the obligations of another person without compensation. The term shall include any person, because the natural person is a person too. You got to understand the plurality of the word person, whose signature is requested as a condition to granting credit to another person. So in order for your legal person or your account principal to get the lease into the account, you got to sign it. In order for that account to receive a mortgage before the lender holds it for the account, you got to sign it. Then the account receives it, and then the lender ends up holding it. But they're tricking you with the deceptive form in the way that they're writing up the agreement, so you don't know that your account is involved. That's why they took the word account number off Social Security, because they don't want you to understand the account principle. Because if you understood that, their whole little system would crumble. Wow. Ain't that something? So they want to keep it hush hush and only with a few people, so that they can dominate and control over others. A lot of people are being puppet, don't even know they're part of a bigger scheme. That indoctrinated their grandparents and great-grandparents. And they playing and keeping the system going without even understanding what they're doing. It's a big gimmick. It's a big game. And they hide the truth, and then they put out hope and belief and make you hope and believe that something going, and when the answers is written right here, I'm showing it to you. This is the problem. This is the reason why you in debt. Stop telling us to go find Jesus and tell us to go read the damn codes so we can figure out what the hell is going on. All right, here we go. Or as a condition for the forbearance or the collection of another person's obligations that is in default. The term shall not include a spouse whose signature is required on a credit obligation to protect the security interest pursuant to state law. So if I go get my spouse and you say, hey, man, I need your wife to sign, you keep telling me my wife is the co-signer for me. But that's a misrepresentation. That means that you're trying to identify me as the account that I'm using. And that's why you're trying to get me to pay, because you don't want me to know that I got an account that's already going to pay. So you're misrepresenting the nature of the transaction. You're inducing me to fraud. And then you're telling me my wife is my co-signer. All this is showing that I'm incompetent if I don't know what the hell going on. So I read the law. Why? So I can know the truth. Why? So because you want to know the truth. They've been lying in your face the whole time. A person who does not receive goods, services, or money in return for a credit obligation does not receive compensation. Within the meaning of this definition, a person is a co-signer. Within the meaning of this definition, whether or not he or she is designated as such on a credit obligation. So if you get a credit card agreement, if you go open up a bank account, if you go get any kind of account and you using your government name, you a co-signer. You're not no damn government person that's created by the state. You're using that as identity. The whole system has been dumbed down. Bankers don't know. A lot of creditors don't know. A lot of people don't know what the hell going on. You go in there and you do something, they be looking at you like you crazy. And you well within your rights to do everything that you're doing, but because it wasn't taught to them, it looks like as if you're doing something wrong. This is what they meant when they said they would have plausible deniability, because you're going to be denied without them even knowing what the hell they're talking about. This is ridiculous, y'all. So the whole time you signing for a person, and a person is an individual. Who is the individual? The taxpayer. Ain't that the individual name that you use to enter into contracts and agreements? Now let me show you something about that name. Y'all gonna learn today. Y'all said share the live out. Go get your people that you've been wanting to teach and tell them my brother got something for him today. I'm gonna show him something today. I'll make you a believer in truth. And then you no longer have to believe, you shall know. Because you probably already believe in some of the stuff you've been hearing. You need to know that this is true. You got to stop believing, and you got to start knowing that this is actually the truth. This is not something that we're making up. Okay? Now we're going to look up the SSN definition of legal name. Right? Because if I ask the average man or woman in the United States, what is your name? They give me their legal name, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's not your name, but do you understand what a legal name is? Okay? A legal name is composed of your name, but you need to know your real name. Let's go here. This is called the Social Security Administration's POMS Manual. This is an internal manual of all the rules, laws, regulations that the Social Security Administration has. If you'd like to learn more about this, go to the POMS Manual system, Google it online, and you should be able to go through their manual and look up everything from trust, anything you want to look up, it's in here, okay? All the same codes, statutes, they all in the Social Security Administration's manual, okay? Now, it says, what is a legal name? Let me enlarge in this real quick. I'm gonna get up out of here in a minute, y'all. But I hope y'all enjoying the live. Make sure y'all keep tapping the screen, sharing out the live. Many people, as you know, so they can be informed. It's your first time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, all right? You want to learn more, you like to join us, Building Better Minds, .info. You can come, you can learn, you can grow with a collective consciousness of members who are on the same journey, right? Now, what is a legal name? For the SS administration enumeration purposes, a legal name consists of a first name, right, which is the name that your mama give you, and a last name or a surname. That's the name that comes from your family. So it's two names, right? The legal name is the name used to sign legal documents, deeds, or contracts. So what that means, when you sign the contract, you're supposed to sign in your legal name. You're supposed to use the legal name that they gave you to use to sign the contract. We do not consider the middle name or suffix as part of the legal name. Whether the middle name or suffix is included, omitted, or incorrectly shown on evidentiary documents submitted with the SS5 application for Social Security card does not matter. So if you fill out the Social Security thing and you put a middle name in there, they disregard that anyway because you don't have a middle name. You should have put that name in the first name box with your first name because both of those are your first name. You have two parts to your first name. Some people have more than two. Some people have 4 or 5 parts to their first name. But it's still your first name because it all came to you at the same time. All right, so you understand that. All right. Excuse me. Now I'm gonna take you to one more part of this. Now that you understand that a person is an individual, and when you enter into contracts, signing leases and contracts, you're signing for an individual person. Now you may think you are acting as the person. You are in fact the person, in a sense. Why? Because that is your identity. That's how you're identifying. That's how you're entering into the contracts. You got legal capacity through that individual identity. That identity allows you to be a leasee. That identity allows you to be a taxpayer. That identity allows you to do legal acts, get a license, get this, get that. So that individual that you're using, it's like a partnership, okay? It's a business arrangement, okay? And you, the man, the consumer, the natural man, you're using the person in order to seek and acquire goods because you gotta have a business organization to enter into business transactions, but your business is not for resale. When you purchase anything, it's for your consumption. And anybody that's doing business with you as an individual, they know that it's a natural person. All individuals are natural persons. Period. So once you understand that, right? Now you know every time you sign a contract and it's in your government name, if you put your signature on there or you sign, you're assuming liability of a person. You're not a person. God didn't create you to be one, nor did he ask you to remain liable for one. Even if you're using it to identify or to purchase goods. Know who you are. That's the most important element of life. To be alive and to be free, to know oneself, and to live in accordance to what the divine creator created for us all. Know your truths and live by divine law, natural law. Follow positive law only when it's in accordance to divine law and natural law. Because something is legal don't make it rightful. Don't mean you should follow it. You got a lot of people that lost churches, lost mosques, because they refuse to follow something legally just because it's a legal doctrine that they want to employ for money and riches. You got to pick what side you on. Understand that But we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna take you to this last little part. I'm gonna show you what they're supposed to be giving. Hold on. Let me get rid of this sound real quick. All right. Okay, let me see. Yeah. Thanks for the share. Let me look at some of these comments real quick. See what y'all talking about. Try to get more involved with my peoples. Okay, slow feed. Ooh, nice touch. Okay, divine essence. Yeah, man, y'all help me get the live out. All praises, I appreciate that. What is it, John No, Lando? What's up? Thanks for being in the building. Let me see. Live born. Yeah, you need to learn how to get the live born record. Vital records in the state of birth acts for certificate of live birth, aka long form birth certificate. Yeah, but you also got what's called Vital Check. Vital Check is another third party system that is connected to the United States Treasury, Department of Vital Statistics, and other departments that you can order records that are lawfully certified by the state as certified records that you can actually use. I've ordered several certificate of live birth. Of course, you're going to pay a little bit more, but that should be you should expect that, being that you're going through a third party rather than the actual company itself. So if you were having problems with your state where you can't find certain records, or you having problems getting certain records because they playing you around, you can go directly through Vital Check and order that loan form. It's a phone call away. Let's say it like that. It's a phone call away. All right. Remember that. Vital Check. Yep. Surname and given name, 5 USC. Uh, Let me see. Your person, natural name, property style is the agent for the first, middle, last uh, two. That well, the reason why you can't separate yourself from the principal is because the principal, that name, that's your proper name. You might not know it's your proper name, but it is your proper name. If it's your full name and it's in all capital letters, that's considered to be a proper noun. And a lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? First thing we'll say is that it's a fictitious name. Oh, it's the name, and it's not even identifying a debtor or a legal person. It's actually identifying the actual man or the child. You see what I'm saying? And that's why the certificate says the name of the child is, and then it got the all cap name fully expressed. That's a proper noun. Let's look this up. Let's do a little bit of homework on this, because this is a very important factor, right? Watch this. All right, so it says in legal terms, A name written in all capital letter does not signify a separate legal entity or corporation. The legal system recognizes and protects an individual's identity through official documentation, such as birth certification or certificates, which serve as proof of age, citizenship status, and identity, right? The use of all capital letters in legal documents is a standard format and practice for clarity and consistency, making important information stand out. This typographical style does not create a separate legal entity or alter a person's legal status. Legal identity is further evidenced by documents like state issue driver's license or identification cards, which require proof of their legal name. The legal system operates on framework of statutory and common law. In all cap, name theory is not recognized as a valid legal argument or principle to any U.S. court of law. See, what they're saying is, in so many words, what they're trying to tell you is that they don't consider, like a lot of people, what just happened? Let me see. So what it's trying to tell you is they don't consider like your legal name in all caps. People will argue that that's the name of a separate legal entity from you, and that they don't consider that a man is considered as to be an entity. You are an entity, whether you is fully established yourself or whether you create an office for yourself and put yourself in a position of authority over your business, then that's on you because you don't understand your legal capacity. So it ain't got nothing. If you try to say that your capacity as a person is not, you're not the person to operate that business, then you basically, it don't make sense. So the legal name basically is just basically identifying that you are the actual person, the proper person to actually use that particular account, right? Period. And anything in the name of that person is actually property belonging to you, and you got documentation in order to prove that you are in fact the natural man or the actual woman behind the character, right? And that you are the only one in reference to anything pertaining to that character having the right of usage, benefit, or anything. So it's not you being separate. In a sense, it's you, the natural man, acting in the capacity of a leasee. You, the natural man or woman, acting in the capacity of a buyer, a purchaser, right? So in that capacity, you're still able to recognize and do things without actually saying that you're separate. You're actually recognizing capacities in which you're acting and specifying who's the actor doing the transaction as the leasee. You see what I'm saying? Or the buyer or the purchaser. And then reference to when you separate your capacity by creating the capacity separate from you in the entity, because you are what they call an insider. You are a person inside another person. I know, I mean, it's crazy because it mimics who we really are in reality. In reality, we are a person, right? In a sense, not actually in evidence because you can't see who we truly are. But in a sense, we are a person inside a person because we are basically being recognized visually as this form, this person, this thing, this flesh. But we know that the true essence of who we are inside this flesh is another type of person, another type of thing, right? So a person inside a person. So when they created the records, it's just like a Homo sapien is a person, but it also possesses a child, right? So it's crazy because most of us, when we born, And we grow up thinking that the Homo sapien body that we operate in is who we are, but we the child in the body. The body is a property or a thing that we operate, and it grows through stages of development to be fully well. It's almost this is whoever created this system created code demonstration. It's a code demonstration. Hey, but you get to use it. But at the time, your body be fully developed before you be fully conscious to use every element of what your body possesses. So your body be fully developed when you get to a certain age and you still be mentally, spiritually, morally undeveloped, not fully aware of who you are, what you can do, or what you're here to do. So it's a crazy thing, but a person is a so you are a man or a woman basically inside a person, an insider. So they basically covered you with a person. Not necessarily, I mean, they covered you with a person, personality, characteristics of a person that covers you as a man or a woman, but the person wasn't really created to put you in bondage. It was actually created for your protection. You're supposed to have protection in your person, security in your person, insurance in your person. It's like an insurance policy, right? And that person is your payer. That person is your obligor, right? But when you sign and you're doing things, if you don't know what you're doing, you can end up switching places and becoming liable for something that the person was supposed to do. And you, as the one instructing, was supposed to give certain instructions so that the trustee knew what your intention was in reference to the person's obligations. You see what I'm saying? But if you impairing the obligation yourself to where you're indirectly thinking you a person and you're not recognizing your executory authority or your duty to perform or to do specific acts, then that could be detrimental to you. It could be very detrimental to everything, every aspect of what's going on, not knowing thyself. Now, I think I'm gonna show y'all one more thing before I go. This will be the last little part of my presentation for today. Thank you for your likes, your shares, for everybody that did come, that did participate. All right, so let's see real quick. Let me read something real quick for y'all. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a little reading section. I'm gonna read something. All right. Let me see. All right, let me get this together. All right. So I'm gonna read something for you real quick. And y'all check this out. Now tell me what you think about this. Let me find the section. All right, so let me read something to you. So it says inferior person. An inferior person is what is known as a Roman person. A Roman person is the form attributed to any Western Roman trust. So a Roman person is actually some kind of trust that they create, right? Or statutes of law, or the Roman body of law, or associated courts, tribunals, and forms. Inferior persons are the lowest standing and weakest form, or weakest of all valid forms of persons. An inferior person can never be validly, legitimately, reasonably, logically, legally, lawfully, or morally claimed or argue as a superior to a superior person. So it's saying an inferior person is somebody that operates as in some sort of form of trust, to where they're operating as some kind of trust or thing, and that's the lowest form of basically capacity that one can operate under, right? It says an inferior person, such as a Roman person, is a person created by a legal spell curse system of the Roman code, known as the Vatican, or also known as the Roman Catholic Church, for which they falsely claim ultimate ownership not only of persons, but associated flesh, mind, and soul. All right, so now it says that an inferior person, such as a Roman person, is a person created by a legal spell curse system. So we're going to look that up. A person created by a legal spell curse system. Let me look this up. I want to see what comes up, y'all. A person created by a legal spell curse system. Hold up. I'm about to show y'all this one. Hold on, let's see. All right, I'm gonna show you, right? I'm finna show you some stuff, boy. I'm trying to tell you. These people, boy, these people something else. Trying to tell you. Let me get. Got so much stuff over. Okay, let me find this real quick. All right. So, a person created by a legal spell curse system refers to an individual who has been subject to a curse or spell, often associated with ancient Roman practice. Inferior persons are those created through a recording or enrollment in a legal system, often viewed as the lowest standard of valid person. So if you only identify by what was enrolled in some kind of legal system, you're in the lowest status. Man, listen. Oh man. Hey, listen. Oh man, listen. is considered as an inferior person. It's created through some kind of recording or enrollment in some type of legal system. It might be issued to you as legal identity. I mean, hey, you better start getting out here and start getting involved so you can know what's going on, okay? Now, a curse tablet from the Greco-Roman world was used to invoke the gods or spirits to perform actions on persons or objects, often targeting specific actions and behavior. So, you know how they say they take the soles of your feet and put it on a birth certificate? And then it goes to the Roman, to the Catholic. What do you think they do with those certificates? What do you think they doing with the souls on those birth certifications? Huh? Let's keep reading. Curses can be legal sentences or magical practices, often used for revenge to impose consequences on individuals. These practices reflect complex relationships between law, magic, and societal normal in ancient society, right? So this is what they've been doing to make people identify as persons, to make people be confused on what's going on. All right? All these different practices. These are things you got to learn, man, that these people are deceptive. They're evil. You know? Somebody putting a spell on you to expect the specific outcome or a certain behavior to come from that record in reference to you being able to not be able to identify yourself outside of that record. That record has been placed on you in your mind, embedded in your mind, to where it becomes like like an imprint, to the point to where it's been imprinted on you that this is who you are, and you can't even get that out your mind that this is not who you are. But this is what they was expecting. That's why they created this system, is to put all of us under a spell using these persons in these forms in order to identify you, in order to cover up your true existence, so that any benefits or rights you hold will be based off you being able to obtain them. With that said, child, I'm going to go ahead and bring this one to a closure. It was a blessing. It was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. It's always a blessing. Sorry about the slow connections and all the different things, but they always seem to crack me up, chop me up, or whatever. But hey, you know what it is. It's your brother Isaiah. Like always, I'm signing out in love and truth, peace, freedom, justice, equality for us all. Hopefully this was an informative video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and run and tell another that Brother Isaiah